Good afternoon, morning, evening, everybody, wherever you may be. How's everybody doing today? With me, as always, is Mr. Ed Hopkins. Say hi, Ed.
Hi, Ed.
Hi, Ed. Whatever,
hey,
man.
everybody.
That works. That works. So today is Wrecking Ball Wbsms question and answer session. We have no planned presentation. We are just holding a call to make sure that you get all of your questions answered about your Wrecking Ball SMS system. So feel free to start firing those away, if you will, and we will get them taken care of with let's see, what am I trying to, what's the word I'm trying to, with an expeditious, nah, I'm giving up. We'll get them taken care of. That's what I'm trying to say. So,
a few announcements.
Yeah, go for it.
There's still probably about 10 or 15 stragglers that are on the old Woottext plans. We've already sent out one email and got some response from several people, but there's still a few of you that need to convert over to the new plans. And let me grab this link here. And our new plans actually are better price versus what you're paying now. Let me send this to the audience.
That going in the chat?
That's in the chat box.
Yeah.
Each individual plan here includes access, so you no longer do you have to pay the flat $27 a month. Our pricing includes access, MMS service enabled on your installations, and also unlimited keywords, so you no longer need to go into Woottext and buy keywords. Every plan includes unlimited keywords. Also includes credits into the package as well. And you'll see here they kind of like go up by 500 per plan, depending on what you need. And if you ever reach your quota of total credits in your account, you can always log into the Woottext back office right here. You should have, if you've already purchased, this green button here, My Woottext Shortcode Service. You can come in here and you have all the details of what to put into your Wrecking Ball install, your credits history, and also you're logging into Woottext to manage your keywords if you want to do so. If you ever need to purchase additional credits, just come in here and you can buy them in 100 credit lots, and they're only 2 cents a piece.
Awesome. Yeah, so if you're still on one of the old Woottext plans, and if you have a question about whether you're on an old plan or not, what you can do is you can take a look at your last receipt from JB Zoo, and the easiest way to decipher is to just see who you're paying. And if you're paying Wrecking Ball Marketing, then you're on an old plan. If you're paying Chemic LLC, then you're on a new plan. So those of you that just purchased Woottext within the last couple of months, you're on a new plan. But there's a handful of people that are still on an old plan, which means that you're paying too much and you do need to get switched over. So you can do that at the link that Ed's put in the chat box, and we'll mention that again later in the call. Let's see, what else?
One more thing to announce. Twilio just announced last week regarding MMS for international reach. Essentially what happens is if you happen to send an MMS to a number that is international or is not MMS compatible, Twilio will store the media and generate a link of the media and send it to the link to the user via SMS. So while they're working on sending actual push messages type images to show up on the phones, they're working on those in the international markets. But for now, they're going to get a link that's going to look something like this. Here's a GIF just to make sure you got it, and it'll link to the image that you set in your MMS campaign. So I'm going to do some more research on that, but it's something good for everybody to know going forward. And all the research that I do on this and all the testing, I'll post it in the Member Center.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's see. All right, a couple of questions. You got anything else for announcements, Ed?
That's it, buddy.
All right, we'll cover those again at the end of the call. Take some Q&A here. Let's see. Roger says, is there another way to integrate payment options into our own websites? The existing button code does not allow a clean integration. Like you mean through an API or something like that, Roger? If that's what you're asking. Let's see. I'm waiting for a reply from Roger. Roger says yes. So is there a way to accept payments through the API yet?
Actually, yes. He's going to have to put in a support ticket, and we can get those API documents over to him.
Okay, perfect. So Roger, if you just put in a support ticket, just copy and paste that question in. It'll get you the docs you need to make it happen. Rebecca says, for Canadians, is it just the MMS one we want? Yes. If you go back to the page there, Ed, I think there's only one with a Canadian flag on it.
Correct, right here.
Yeah, so now I suppose it's possible, Rebecca, I don't know your business model, but if you're a Canadian that's doing business in the U.S. and had a use for, a U.S. short code, then that would change the answer. But yes, if you're just looking for MMS and you're in Canada, then it would be that top button right there. Correct.
Just so you know, too, Dave, and everybody else, I did do a test. I actually sent an MMS from a U.S. number to a Canadian number, and because of the reverse compatibility now of the MMS now internationally, you can send back and forth U.S. and Canada MMS.
Oh, fantastic.
And it doesn't do that link like I described earlier.
Okay, that's cool. Did not know that.
And I want to show everybody how to enable this. And let me log in. You're going to go into your Twilio account. You're going to go up here, click on Account. And at the very bottom here, you're going to do MMS to SMS fallback. Click on Enable. Click on Save Settings. And then put your password in, and you're good to go.
Got it. And that what you just showed there, that's just for the international people, right?
Correct. Like if there's an Australian number that's subscribed to your Canadian number, you can still send him an MMS. It'll first detect what country it is, and let's say the country's okay, but let's say if the phone's not MMS enabled, it'll automatically send them the link to the image.
Gotcha. Okay. Dave says, if I install on a subfolder, do I register the domain URL plus the subfolder, or do I just register the main domain name?
What you're going to do, you come in here inside your member area. You're going to come into Domains. And for example here, let's say I want to add a domain here. And let's say I have it on SMS.
I think he's talking subfolder, Ed, not subdomain. So just like you're showing there, he needs the folder.
Yep, this is the folder. You're going to put it with a trailing /.
Okay.
If you're doing a subdomain, you're always going to do the subdomain, no HTTP, no HTTPS, just as I'm showing here.
All right, cool. Dave says, got it, thanks. Excellent. Let's see. Larry says, is there any way to have MMS enabled on Wrecking Ball without paying the monthly Woottext? Not really. As we talked about in many webinars, Larry, Wrecking Ball SMS is a pretty complete and stable software, so it doesn't require a ton of support. The reason that there is a monthly charge for MMS is because, as Ed just illustrated, it is constantly evolving and changing, and there's going to be a lot of support centered around MMS. So we have to charge a monthly fee for it. Otherwise, we're just going to be selling you something that is not going to work sooner or later, and we know you don't want that. So let's see.
Especially in the United States, Dave, we want people using the shortcode. You always want to be in compliance, and that's what your customers or businesses that sign up with you are going to want to see. They want to be protected too as well.
Perfect. Let's see. We got that one, got that one, got that one, got that one. Any plans to add Stripe into the payment processing, Ed?
Actually, yes. That was discussed last week. We are currently working on that. Working on the feasibility first and to see what it's going to cost us as far as time and money. And then when we're finished, we're going to put that up inside the Wrecking Ball as an update.
Perfect. And Philman says we can do 6 domains now, not just 3. Yeah, Philip, and if if you need more than 6 and you have a legitimate reason for needing them, I don't think that's an issue.
Not at all.
No, it just, we didn't want, don't just want to open the floodgates up and let, everybody just start registering 30 domains. Because there really, with the Client Center built into Wrecking Ball SMS, there really shouldn't be a whole lot of legitimate cases where more than 2 installs are necessary. So, but yeah, if there's 6 available in the members area, and if you need more than that, hit us up in support and tell us why, and we will see what we can do. Mitch, go ahead.
This call is being recorded too, and it's going to be placed inside of the Woottext webinar section. I'm going to click right here, and we're going to start posting these. We're going to start doing calls regularly, probably every 2 weeks. Dave probably will not be on those calls. It'll probably be me and probably one of my helpers.
Perfect. Let's see. Is there a way for clients to view their payment status? That's a good question.
Absolutely. They go into settings here, and they click on transactions, and they can see all the statuses down here.
Perfect. Is that what you were talking about, Roger? Roger says, thanks. So I'm going to go with yes. All right, guys. Question box is empty. We're here to get your questions answered, so get them in. This is your opportunity to get your questions answered that may be lingering. Roger says, how do you manage multiple restaurant customers? I can't imagine personally managing campaigns for 40 restaurant customers. This really isn't the webinar for that. In order to answer that question properly, we'd really like to get Jason on the call, and Jason's not here right now. But really, Roger, there's not a whole lot of managing that needs to be done, right? You should absolutely be able to set up a restaurant's text blast for the next 90 days or so in advance, right? And that really shouldn't take you more than an hour, maybe an hour and a half, so I don't think that it's as overwhelming as it may seem in your head. There's a lot of people that own Wrecking Ball SMS that do that, exactly that, for many more than 40 restaurant clients. So it's not as overwhelming as you think. Don't think about it if you're just getting started. Just concentrate on the task at hand, which is going to be dealing with one client, your first client, or your first 2 clients. Everybody kind of develops, systems and strategies to manage their time and their data themselves, and I don't think there's a blanket answer for that, but I can tell you that it's completely doable. So
yeah, and from working with Jason, Dave, I did realize when he was first starting out, he wasn't really using the client part of his Wrecking Ball install. He was actually using just his admin account and just creating campaigns from there. And actually, if you do it this way, and you're creating campaigns, and let's say you've already created one restaurant campaign, it's very easy to replicate because there is a replicate feature by clicking on copy. On the client side, you can't duplicate clients, so it's a little bit tougher, and you got more manual work involved. So Jason, this is how he started, just doing everything inside of his admin account and creating multiple accounts, and all those restaurants would be in tabs.
Yeah. So it's really just about familiarity with the platform and getting in there and digging in and finding out what works best for you, Roger, But it's completely doable. Jason does it every week, so you can too. Lena, yes, there will be a recording, and it will be placed in the members area. Ed, maybe show Lena what that page is again.
Oh, okay.
Where the webinar recordings are going to go.
Inside your members area, you're going to jump down to webinars. When you click on that, it's going to bring up this page, and they're going to be populated very big videos beneath the little globe here.
Beautiful. Let's see. Dave says, at the moment, I still have my Pay Monthly WB, which will go when I have the new install running. On the registration page, it says, please enter any domain that your SMS system currently sits on. Do I have to include my current monthly domain? If it's going to go away, Dave, no. But, you may want to, if you've got a spare space, you may want to go ahead and just license it just in case, so that way it doesn't just crash or, get pulled down in a month here. We will be switching over our licensing server here in the next not too long, and we'll keep you guys informed about that. And everybody will need to update their Wrecking Ball SMS system before that happens. So we will talk about that ad nauseum before it becomes an issue for you guys. So
yeah, currently, Dave, let me speak on that a little bit.
Yeah, please.
The new licensing system is reverse compatible. If you have not updated into the most recent version with MMS, it's going to be looking to our Infusion account for licensing. Once you hit that upgrade button, we've already imported all your data from Infusion into this system here. And once you update your system, it's going to look to this particular website for the licensing. So it's reverse compatible and it should work. Once the old licensing system goes away, it'll still work because we're going to provision inside of the old licensing system to automatically allow any install.
Perfect. And then, Ed, you may know what this means. James Swan says, are we able to send long code MMS with Woottext a la sticker MMS? Do you know what that means?
Sticker MMS is a product I created for dealerships using Craigslist ads. I think he meant to say shortcode. Is that correct, James? And if you did mean to say shortcode, the answer to that, no, sticker MMS is strictly long codes.
He says no.
It has nothing to do with Woottext. Correct. That sticker MMS is strictly long codes. Does not use shortcode. It has nothing to do with Woottext. It's a standalone WordPress plugin.
I think maybe what he's asking Ed is if he buys the Woottext to get MMS enabled on Wrecking Ball, could he duplicate what the sticker MMS does?
No, sticker MMS actually allows the salesman to individually log in and see their leads every day. Currently, Wrecking Ball does not have that functionality. That's kind of like the difference between sticker and Wrecking Ball.
Copy that. Let's see.
Theoretically, if you didn't care about
the salesman,
having your salesman have to log in, you can just still have them notify on the notifier here on the prospector.
Right, so you'd lose some of the salesperson login functionality, but that would be it. Is that correct?
That's correct, Dave.
Okay, excellent. Let's see. Mark says, running version 8.2.21, how do I upgrade to the latest 8.2.6?
You're going to jump over here into Manage when you first log in. There's going to be a red button, big red button. You can't miss it down here. Just click on it, and it takes probably about 20 seconds for it to upgrade. It'll refresh and then look like this when it's completely upgraded. And it'll show the most recent version right here.
Perfect. Let's see. Got that one.
Actually, if he's running version 8.2.21, he is on the most recent version. So you can't reverse update the system.
Oh yeah. 8.2.21 is newer than 8.2.6. Yeah. So, let's see. This is a great question. Gary says, are the Woottext packages applied at the client level or the admin level? In other words, does each client buy a package, or do we purchase one package for all clients?
You purchase one package for all clients. You got to determine what you're going to need to service all your clients. We do allow, like, if there's an emergency, let's say one of your clients needs to do a mass send and you know it's going to totally blow out all your available credits, just contact me and we'll add credits for free. You just got to settle up at a later date.
Perfect. So does that make sense, Gary? I think it probably does. Ed, can we schedule MMS messages?
Absolutely, you can. What you want to do inside of your Wrecking Ball, click on Send Broadcast, and you're going to want to construct a message. Click on the plus here, and we'll just do my message. Then we want to send an SMS, and then you want to, if you want to have any text to go along with the images and media, put the text here, and then you can set the media that's going to go out with that send. Click on Save Changes, and then click on Save.
Perfect.
Now we have this message constructed. You can now send it via SMS, and then choose a list that it's going to go to.
And they can do the same thing from the scheduler, correct?
Absolutely. The scheduler you can actually assign. You come back here. In the scheduler, you can actually assign this template to go out in the scheduler.
Got it. So if you're going to schedule MMS, set up a blast template first, and then go into the scheduler and just choose that template.
And just so you know, too, if you want to segregate who gets that message on your list, if they join between certain dates, you can set that here, and it'll only send that message to those customers.
Gotcha. All right. Let's see. Dave says, did the UK shortcode fall by the wayside due to low numbers? Yeah, you could say that. I can't believe we're still getting those questions. We made aggressive efforts to contact everybody, Dave, and the truth of the matter is that we carried the UK shortcode for over a year trying to keep it alive, and there was absolutely nobody using it. I mean, not one text message, right? Nobody was using it. And there was only about 3 or 4 people that had paid for it. So, yeah, it was a losing proposition, which is a shame. You know, when we originally brought all these international shortcodes on, we had dozens and dozens of people tell us, yep, we want it, and then when it came time to actually pay for it, nobody did, which is too bad. So, yes, it is gone. Let's see. James, will you add this functionality in the future? I'm interested in long code MMS feature with sticker MMS, but would hate to have to run 2 separate systems. I'll be using mainly for real estate. Is any thoughts on if that the salesperson stuff is coming, Ed?
Actually, it has been created already, probably about 6 months ago inside Wrecking Ball. It's just something that hasn't been tested yet.
Gotcha.
We'll have to get to that once we get through some of these development tombstones that we have.
Roger that. How do I delete items from the media library?
Should come in here. Oh,
you can't.
It was there before.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
I think there's a button missing, Andy.
It's like, what happened?
Oops. All the little red X's are gone.
They are.
Thanks for pointing that out. We'll take care of it. Yeah, and then another question, Andy wants to know if we add media in the admin account, does it show in all the customer accounts?
Absolutely not. Every account is segregated via whatever media that they put inside their system. So if I log in as one of my clients, they're not going to see any of these.
So if you want to add media for a client, make sure you're logged into the client account when you do it. Yeah, BJ says, sign up for Woottext. Can we upgrade or downgrade between package levels?
Absolutely. Just let us know in support that you upgraded or downgraded, and we'll cancel your other plan.
Perfect. You know, don't take advantage of that and do it every 2 weeks, BJ. You know the deal. But yeah, let's see. If Twilio gets around to MMS for UK numbers, will we need Woottext, or will we just be able to use them with long codes? Once again, Dave, I'll cover this again. The reason there's a monthly charge strapped to MMS is because it's undergoing a constant state of development, and it's where the support hurdles are. So there has to be a monthly fee for that. So if Twilio does enable complete MMS integration with in the UK, most likely there will be a monthly charge associated with that, at least until it settles in and, you know, becomes stable. Right now, it's a constant development situation, and Twilio is constantly changing how it works on their end, so we have to, you know, we have to charge for it. So let's see, got that one, got that one. If I add, can we integrate this with our CRM? In what way, Lena? If you're looking to have your CRM send a text message based on a trigger that your CRM has, then that should be plenty doable. It'd take a little bit of custom integration, but I don't know exactly what type of integration you're looking for with your CRM.
If you're looking to post to your CRM, the subscribers, you can do that from the campaign triggers. Anytime a new subscriber comes through the system, it'll automatically trigger any URL that you place in here and send all the user information, including the name, email, and phone number and date of subscription.
And am I correct in thinking, Ed, that let's say, for instance, they wanted their CRM to also send a text when they send an email? They could probably set up a template in the billing or appointment reminders and do it, correct?
They could do that, but they could also use the API.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so the short answer is yes, it's doable, Lena, but depending on what integration you're looking for, it's going to require a little bit of work, but nothing too extreme. Let's see. Andy says if I add a client to the system manually, I'll have to bill them manually, correct?
No, inside of the Client Center, if you first create them manually, what's going to happen is you're going to obviously assign them a package, but you're going to want to make sure inside of your package, I come up here and click on Edit, there is a link here, or a check mark that says roll over credits every cycle. This will automatically, let's say they sign up on the 15th of the month, the next 15th of the month they will be the credits that are set in the package given to them. Now, if you just created a customer, like I said, you still have to provision credits equal to what the package is. So you're going to have to come in here, choose a client, and then add the credits that are there. You only need to do that once when you do a manually creation of a client.
And then once all the client information is there, then the client's automatically going to get the emails for billing and all that kind of stuff, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Dan says, is Shortcode coming to Canada? No. No, we had a Canadian Shortcode, Dan, that got canceled about 6 months ago because nobody used it. Nobody wanted to pay for it. So, again, that's sad. We went through a lot of work to pull that off, but we did have to let it go. We couldn't afford to pay for it just for the 2 people that were testing on it. So it's probably going to be a while before there would be another one, considered. Let's see. Can customers upgrade to higher credit plans by themselves?
No, they can't.
Okay.
Unless that you have buttons set up inside of your payment page. Let's say if you put the
Right.
buttons on the WordPress page or something.
Yeah. So, Andy, you could create, multiple package levels and put those on a page on your website that your clients have access to, and then if they push that button, they could upgrade and do it that way themselves.
In most instances, what's going to happen is they're going to come in here, let's say if they need more credits. If they don't have enough credits, they can come here and click on Add Credits. Then whatever you have set in your packages for the cost per credit, it'll automatically, so if I come here and put in like 444 credits and click on Buy, it's going to calculate that cost, send them to PayPal, they're going to pay, and then they're going to be returned here, and the credits are going to be added to their account. And that's how you're going to make the most money, is doing it this way, having them come in here to do all their maintenance of creating more credits for keywords or SMS credits.
Yeah, and Andy, if you wanted to bill them manually, you can certainly do that when you set up a package, right? Or I shouldn't say, when you set up the client, you just make sure if the emails aren't going out, or you just change the emails to not reflect their balance. You certainly can. There's several ways you can manage the whole thing manually if that's what you prefer. Ed, can you show us where to export an SMS list?
Surely. So come inside, for example, let's say if you're using a keyword campaign, choose the campaign that you want to extract the data from. You're going to jump down here to the My List window, and you click on Export Import, and then click on CSV export.
Beautiful. Lena says, can we use our Amazon to store our data instead of having it all on our host? I don't think no. So like store all your lists and stuff on AWS instead of on your hosting? Is that what you're asking? I think that's what she's asking. Yeah. No, there's no way to do that. I mean, I'm sure it's...
Even though it sounds cool, at the end of the day, you're just slowing down the wrecking ball system because there has to be another level of transactions taking place going back and forth with Amazon. So even though it sounds cool, it's highly not recommended, even if it was available to you.
Yeah, and I know, you know, the thinking is AWS is so much faster that the whole system would act faster, but in fact you'd be slowing it down because you'd be doubling the workload of the system. So David says, can I sign up, if someone signs up on a long code, can you send them a reply message via MMS? I have a restaurant that would like to be able to send out a daily menu to a few customers. Absolutely, David. Maybe, Ed, can you show them how to set up a reply message with an MMS attached to it on a keyword campaign?
Absolutely. So you're going to come in here. Let's create a new campaign. Just call it restaurant. What do they call it? Menu. Click on save. And then usually it says here step 1, step 2. I always come down here because I seem to always forget. Add the number to the campaign first. And then you're going to choose the keyword if you're using shortcode. But what's going to happen here is if they do subscribe via shortcode, the long code will still send the media, so keep that in mind. But to keep some continuity, if they're subscribing from the long code, you can send them a message and then send the menu here. Click on save, and that's how you set it up. So once they text in that keyword, they're going to be sent the text and the media.
Perfect. Simple as pie. Mark says, does the system automatically bill them each month for the package via PayPal? Yes, it does, Mark. Obviously, like we just talked about, if you didn't want that to happen, there's ways you can get that to not happen, but yes, it absolutely does.
And it works for Authorize.net and First Data too.
Perfect. Will this video be available to watch later? Yes, it will be inside of the members area under the webinars tab. Andy says, what happens if a customer gets people on his list with a long code and then decides to get rid of that long code and get a new one?
It'll just send from the new one.
Yeah, I don't think there would be any disruption or any problem whatsoever, Andy. It would just be reassigning the phone number, you know.
The only thing I can think is if you're sending out a lot of messages with the old long code, your customers get acclimated to who it is, almost like when they see a friend send a text message to them. You change that number, they might say, who in the hell is this? That's the only thing that might happen. You might lose some subscribers.
Yeah, right. Yep, that's a good point. Let's see. Mitch says, if this is too basic a question, go ahead and skip me, but what's the difference between Woottext and Wbsms? Nothing.
Wbsms is the actual delivery system of SMS. It's the software. Woottext is the mechanism of the shortcode to send messages via the shortcode. We're currently branding this now. We're going to try to combine them to be just Woottext. And we're going to try to do that over the next couple of months here, get everybody acclimated to just using Woottext as opposed to Wrecking Ball.
Yeah. So there's a handful of people out there still saying the monster. So let's see. Ed, in-depth training on the appointment reminder system. Where can they find that? Or does it exist? I mean,
it does exist. You're going to come in here. You're going to go to Client Training. And then you're going to jump down, and I'm sure it's on one of these videos here. Did I skip it? There it is. Using the appointment reminder.
Yeah. So, Philip, please go through that, and then if there's still questions, feel free to hit us up with any questions and support. I will tell you right now that if you're looking to do a direct integration for a doctor or a dentist with their appointment keeping software, there is some pretty techie stuff that you're going to need to know. So if you're not a technical guy, there's probably going to be a lot of questions, but know that when you do show it to a technical guy, it will all make sense. So, Mitch says, so we can use Wbsms without Woottext if we don't use shortcodes. Yes, absolutely, Mitch. If you want to just use it with long codes, you can hook it to your Twilio account and just run. That'll be the end of it. Just make sure that what you're doing is in fact compliant, and keep in mind that the long codes send much slower than the short codes. Let's see. David says, please clarify, does the customer have to dial in for the menu, or do they sign up for it to be sent to them? The menu changes daily. You could do it either way, David. You could either have them text in daily, or you could have them text in and then send a daily menu to that list every day at a certain time. That's 100% up to you how you're going to do that, or you and your client, I should say. Let's see. Andy says, having problems adding clients in the admin area, sent to support ticket yesterday. All right, we'll take a look at it as soon as we get off the call. Are the new client videos
Can I expand more on that menu? Was it David? If you want to do it the dial technique, you can set up an IVR in here, and then when somebody calls in, obviously you can have all the menus here, and the end result could be an SMS reply. You can send that menu in text right here inside the IVR.
Got it.
So they call, get their messages, and they get their instructions. If you put an MP3 file or an MP3 file in there, and then once they hang up, they're sent this text message with an MMS media.
Perfect. Let's see. BJ says, so MMS is only available on shortcode? Just want to make sure. No. MMS is only available on long code currently. The fact of the matter is MMS can be enabled on the shortcode. However, it is not accepted carrier-wide yet. So it hasn't been done yet because it's only going to be 50%, deliverability until all of the rest of the carriers adopt, say, yep, we're good. So as of right now, MMS is only available on long codes. Let's see. BJ says, so when you say long codes send messages much longer than short codes, what do you mean? Yeah, only talking about a big list. A long code is capable of sending one message per second. A short code is capable of sending 30 messages per second. So once your list size gets larger, then the short code is going to be important. But the short code cannot carry MMS currently. Hope that makes sense, BJ.
Yeah, using Jason as an example, he's got some of his lists that are pretty damn huge.
Yeah.
I know at some point he was using the long code. Obviously, he would have like the 5 minutes to sit around and wait for it to send. But then when it got into the thousands, he's like, screw this, man. I'm using the short code because he can just press the button and 5 minutes later walk away and it's sent like 2,000 SMS messages to their customer list.
Yeah. Is there a maximum file size for MMS, Ed?
Ideally, you do want to compress it in some fashion. If you're sending a PNG, we can come in here, compress PNG. It's always a good idea just to run it through here. Like this is the website here. I'll put it in the chat box. Run your images through there, and then upload them into the Woottext system. Now, Twilio by default will automatically compress the image for you if it's too big. But just for the sake of having the API going back and forth, if you just have to put in a massive image, let's say it's like 200 megs, I mean, it's going to take probably hours for Twilio to process that image and compress it. So always just do the work for them. It makes things a lot faster and easier for your customers to get the message quickly.
Perfect. And we have a dedicated training video for the prospector campaign, do we not, Ed?
Absolutely, we do.
In the members area. So, Mitch, we're not going to take that question here on the webinar because that video does, in fact, cover it pretty well. If you jump into the members area and take a look at the video for the prospector campaign, that's going to answer all of your questions. Let's see. Philip says, does the IVR system have a way to make an outgoing call to a list, play a recording, and without any response from the person that dialed it, drops the call into a conference call with all of the list muted and a moderator or two unmuted? No. No. But
yeah. You can send an MP3 in a mass broadcast.
Yeah, so the first sentence, yes. The last three, no.
Yeah, what I would do is I would set up your mass broadcast to send an MP3 first, and then with that, you're going to obviously send some text too. Now, in that text, you can put a phone number, which once they press that phone number, can handle the rest to do everything you need to do. About sending them into a conference call, that's a little bit different. The IVR currently does not do that.
Yeah, and just reading through that question, if I understand it completely, I think, well, I guess I don't know what your use case is, but that to me sounds like it would be, spam. If ever there was a clinical definition of spam, that would be it.
But again, spam, but expensive too, Dave.
Yeah, I don't know how you're using it though. So, how much trouble is it to switch from long code to short code as your list grows?
It's not hard at all. Let me come in here. Go to a keyword. So let's say we have our. Let me go in here and choose one that already has a few subscribers. I think it's this one here. Oh, not that one. Test campaign. Okay, so let's say we built our list here. We have several hundred people, maybe several thousand people, and at some point you're getting kind of nervous and you want to make sure you're in compliance. What you can do is create a brand new campaign, and you're going to flow them into that campaign. And how you're going to do this is on the new campaign, on long code subscribe, user gets short code yes message. So you'll send them a message to text a keyword to your new list, and then what's going to happen is they're going to get the yes message from the short code, and hence they're going to be added to a short code list.
Beautiful. And can you show them how to import an SMS list, Ed?
Absolutely, and that's always recommended. You're going to come down here to My List again, and you're going to first click on the sample CSV so you know exactly how to structure it before you upload one into the system. Once you're done there, you're going to save that CSV in that format with the numbers that you've added to it. Come here and click on Import, choose the file on your computer, and instantaneously it's all going to be added into your system under that campaign.
And this is a good question I don't know the answer to. When using the IVR system, Ed, can the MP3 file, is there a place they can just put in a link to host the MP3 file on an AWS account instead of uploading it?
Let me check here.
I honestly don't know the answer to that.
My initial thought is no, but I'm going to double check just for the hell of it here. If I can figure out where I'm going. I don't know if I'm coming or going anymore.
Yeah. But keep in mind here, Dave, too, that, MP3 is a fairly lightweight folder file. So unless you were going to have, 1,000 people hitting it all at once, I really doubt you'd have a problem.
Yeah, you definitely have to upload it here. Yeah, MP3s are generally very small files.
Yeah, so he's talking about a large file for an information hotline, but as long as it's not in, 128 megabyte stereo, and it's just
Doesn't have to be.
Right, spoken word, I really don't think you'll have a problem. Yeah, I really don't think you'd ever have an issue with having it on your server as opposed to S3.
Yeah, a regular song is probably what, like 5 megs, Dave?
Yes.
MP3.
Right.
And that's super high quality.
Right.
Times that by 10. I mean, you're talking about a 50 meg file tops for an hour long MP3.
Yeah. Yeah. At high quality.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Tom says, what are the other advantages of shortcode besides speed? Well, compliance, obviously, that's an important one. Technically, a long code is for person-to-person communication, is not for marketing messages. Okay? Now, there's some gray area there as far as what's person-to-person communication. For instance, if I opt into a list to get notified of the daily specials for a restaurant, in my opinion, and that's all it is an opinion, that's not necessarily a marketing message. That's a personal communication that I want to receive. Okay? Obviously, you will be the person that will have to prove your point should it ever be called into question whether or not your message is a marketing message or person-to-person communication. So other than speed, that's the deal, Tom. It has to do with what is technically acceptable for marketing and advertising, and that's shortcode. So
there's an extra level too, Dave. With long codes, delivery of your message is not guaranteed by the carriers.
Right.
If you're using the shortcode, the delivery is guaranteed because they're using high-speed SMPP, which all the carriers are connected to. In fact, it's a direct connection to all the U.S. mobile carriers. And that way, since they're assigned and they know that we send marketing messages, they're already aware, they allow our messages to go through.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, Ed. So let's see. Lyle says here, doesn't MMS use multiple credits up to 10% for a 1600 character message? So it would use 100 Woottext credits for a send of 10 messages, for example, or am I confused?
Okay. MMS is totally separate from the shortcode. The shortcode credits have nothing to do with MMS credits. MMS is deducted from your credits at Twilio. And depending on how you have your payment settings there, if you use up $20 in credits, it's just going to go through your credit card again and take another $20. But you want to make sure when you are sending MMS, it is per 160 characters. If it's straight text, that counts as 1 SMS credit at Twilio. If you're sending an image, it's 2 credits. So per image, it's going to be 2 credits at Twilio, not at Woottext.
So if he was sending an image plus 1,600 characters, that would be 12 credits.
You are exactly on the spot correct.
So you'd have 10 credits burned up for the text, 2 credits burned up for the MMS. So yes, Lyle, what you've said in the question box here is that if you sent out 100 blasts, or if you sent out 10 blasts that were 1,600 characters, yes, you would burn up 100 credits. You're absolutely correct.
But it's not using Woottext credits.
Correct. Gary points out that shortcodes are also easier for clients to remember and enter on their phone. Absolutely. Andy says, when will the shortcode be MMS enabled? It's not up to us, Andy. We can't answer that question. It's just not available nationwide on all carriers. There's only 4 carriers that have it enabled right now. So there's absolutely no telling when that will happen. And
the minute it does happen, though, it will be enabled.
Right. Yeah. So it's completely out of our hands and out of our control, and there's no way to answer the question. Yeah, I'm sure that there is other shortcodes out there, but they're not. If they're not all carriers, I can guarantee you that.
He mentions like easy texting. Why don't you call their support and ask them how many shortcodes they've lost in the past 2 years?
Yeah.
I guarantee it's at least 2.
Yeah. No, right now there's only 4 carriers in the U.S. that allow MMS transmission over shortcodes, right? And there's about a dozen carriers that are common. So you're talking about a deliverability of 30%. So yes, it could be enabled, but the deliverability is just horrible, and there's really no point in doing it until it becomes carrier-wide accepted.
Yeah, especially like the carriers like Boost Mobile and Crickets. There is a lot of customers on those services that aren't serviced by the MMS via shortcode.
Yeah.
That's a huge segment.
Yeah, and BJ says, when we use our shortcode, then does it automatically mean our long code is also compliant? BJ, as long as you can document the fact that the people on your list know that they're on their list and why, then none of the rest of it matters, right? I'm not going to tell you what technically compliant messages are, and really if you're going to worry about that, that's a question for your lawyer. But the bottom line is you have to just use some logic. Do the people that are the people that are on your list aware of the fact that they joined a text list and they're going to get sent messages? If the answer is yes, then you're compliant, regardless of how you brought them in and how you send to them. Now, if you brought them in on a short code and you're sending to them on a long code or vice versa, sure, you're introducing some opportunities for confusion, and you may be introducing an opportunity to invite a complaint, right? But I think that's pretty unlikely, and the reality is, as long as you can prove that, hey, this person opted into this text list and here was the disclaimer that they read before they did it, you're going to be just fine. And if you're concerned about it, go to double opt-in, and then it's not going to matter, so.
Yeah, furthermore, our shortcode is federally compliant to the letter of the wording inside of the message that's sent to the customer before they text in yes.
Yeah. So.
Oh, which reminds me, we get a lot of support tickets, so hopefully this will resolve this issue. You cannot customize the message that goes to the customer once they subscribe. So when they text in the keyword and they get, would you like to subscribe to this list? You may receive this many messages per month, that is, like I said, completely compliant, and it cannot be customized because you change any wording, any letters up inside of that text message, you're not in compliance anymore. Always make sure inside your client center that you have good, clear, and clean names for your campaigns, because it's going to pull that data, and make sure you have clear names for the company that is receiving the opt-in.
Perfect. What else, guys? We got time for probably 2 more here. Get them in the question box. Dave says, I'm based in the UK. My son lives in Spain. Would I have to buy a Madrid Twilio number and port it in to be able to use it for him? I don't know if you'd be able to do that anyway, Dave. Do you know, Ed, does Twilio have local numbers for Spain?
I think there was an email that was sent out by Twilio, but I don't know if Spain was in that list, so let's find out.
Yeah, they got numbers and text messages.
Yep.
So you're good to go in Spain, Dave. Just buy a Spanish number, and you'll be all set. Are the new training videos going to be added to the client training area? Probably not, Dennis, because they're not white label, right? And we know from the past that that's a big, big deal to you guys. So that's something that'll be coming probably, but it's not going to happen anytime in the next week. Yeah, let's see. Got that one. Dave says, thanks. You're welcome. What else, guys? One more, and then we'll wrap it up and we'll get the recording posted. I saw a couple more.
I'll expand further on the Dennis Graves comment, too.
Okay.
Some of the issue is this. People in the UK don't want to hear an American accent when they log into their system. And in most cases, people in the United States don't want to hear a UK accent, even though it sounds cool, when they log into their system. So that's some things that we have to consider when we are doing the videos. Let us figure out a solution for that, and then we'll get back with you guys on it.
Yeah. I was just looking at the price spread there for Spain. 3/4 cent to receive, 8 cents to send. I've never seen a spread that wide on Twilio before.
Yeah, I think that what's happening is the carriers that are in Spain are actually charging Twilio a certain amount.
Let's see.
Oh, most importantly, let me, because this question is going to be asked. I have to log in again. I think no. To make sure you provision your other countries inside of your Twilio, you're going to click on Account, then Graphic Permissions, and then select Messaging tab here. And you want to check off all the countries that you want to be able to send text to.
Perfect, yeah, because that does come up. I'd forgotten about that too. Virgin Islands, U.S., plus 1340. American Samoa, plus 1684. That's got to be a long damn number if you got to put a plus 1684 in front of it. Oh. Dave says, I like being able to watch these webinars while I'm awake like this one. Can we do them earlier more often, please? Well, typically, Dave, when we do the Q&As, we typically hold those during the day. It's usually the Thursday Think Tank that we do at night, you know, so, but I hear you. Well, let's see. Covered that one, covered that one, covered that one, covered that one. Last question, is there an easy way to close sub-accounts in Twilio and move the number to the main account?
Yes, usually what I do is I'll come in here, click on sub-accounts. I just totally bypass Twilio altogether. And let's say we have this account right here that may have like maybe 4 or 5 numbers. Once you close that account, the numbers that are attached to that account will automatically be ported into your admin account. And then you can come in here under Numbers, and then click on By a Number, go to Existing, and then click on Admin, and those numbers should appear there, and you can add them to your admin account.
Yeah, and keep in mind that when you close a sub-account from inside your Wrecking Ball and then you log into Twilio, that sub-account's still going to show up in Twilio for like 6-8 months if there's been any activity on it, because they don't delete it over there, so you still have access to the tracking. If you send Twilio an email, they can delete an empty sub-account for you. Yes, Mitch, as long as the person you'll be texting has requested information to be texted to them, you will be fine with compliance. You're absolutely right. Ed, did you have anything else for today?
So remember, if you guys are still paying the old plans, you got to be converted over by the end of March. Otherwise, you will lose shortcode service. You won't lose your credits, but you won't be able to use your credits until you're on the new plan. So you're going to jump over to this. I'll put this in the chat box one more time. Go there and pick up your MMS shortcode plan now.
Yeah, make sure and get that done, guys. Ultimately, it's saving you money anyway, so you need to move on it. Make it happen. So we will put this recording up inside of the members area on the webinars tab. It'll be ready sometime tomorrow. And if you missed anything, you can always jump in and watch it there. Keep in mind, you can always ask us questions at support.wreckingballmobile.com or shoot us an email at support@wreckingballmobile.com. Appreciate you guys all being here. And we hope we got most of your questions answered. Looks like we did. And we'll talk to you very, very soon, unless I'm missing something, Ed.
That's it. Have a good week, everybody.
Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.